My name is Jay Krishna and I go by JK. So yeah, it's the last day, last talk of the day, and I know all of our energies are down, and it's usually very hard to hype up everyone after a break. So let's do it a little different. Okay, let's go with more of a direct live coding, or just feel free to ask questions whenever I speak about something or whatever. Okay, let's try to make it a two-way communicative stuff, and let's make it interesting and close it on a high note. So I'm JK. So I currently work as an engineer at Teleport HQ. It's a Romanian startup, not an Indian one, and I've been working with them for almost 4 years, but I'm in India. And have anybody heard about JSP? JavaScript package manager CDN. So I'm uh, one of the member of the JSPM Foundation, which serves around 1 billion requests of JavaScript packages per month. And in my first part of the year, I was part of Code Sandbox. I was working with them in Amsterdam and just moved to India like 2 weeks back. So just sharing all my experiences all these years, and I've been working like across India and Europe for the last 2 years, and those are our CSB team. You can see Ives, Bus, and everyone. And I literally work from everywhere except have desk and office setup. So let's make it as a two-way stuff, and I have a lot of things to share. And it's literally very hard to keep it in 30 minutes. So I'll try my best, and you try your best. Let's make it a two-way. So in the beginning, so why not? Why just go back to the beginning? And it's 2019, and that's the day where React Bangalore actually announced their logo. It's Jan 2019. So I was back at 2019 when things didn't start yet. Like I didn't fully got into my career, and I still started complaining about choosing a stack. You're making us write a lot of stuff. So any freshers recently, like who started doing front end, like 1 year or 2 years back, this is a very typical project setup that you see. Browser list, npm ignore, Babel file, storybook file, prettier file. So the past 2 years of my whole experience is how can we make it even more smoother for everyone to enter into the space. A few guys remember a few years back, we were just dropping a CDN line inside our project and just writing in our index.html. We didn't have this much hassle. So my path was to make it happen in 2023. I think 2023, I'm not lost in 2022. And today we will explore how it is possible. And I have a live demo for you to show how it is possible and how import maps are actually helping you to achieve that in 2023. Just by all you need to care about is just write your JavaScript or your project and just forget about the rest of the stuff, and always don't worry about all these files and managing. And most part of my career, I was spending my time in low code and no code. The platform which I work for is Teleport HQ, where it started, why we need to go in this path. We have a tab on the top called developer. So when you hit a developer mode, we will bootstrap your project with some just basic empty file. And when I sync it, you got a full blown project like within milliseconds of your time. And I didn't even take care of dependencies. I didn't even take care of all the files that we are doing. And this is what we are going to explore, how it was even possible for us. So let's get back to our presentation. So when we started with this challenge, sorry, my bad. This is me basically in 2020. I don't need sleep. I need answers for these complicated workflows. And this is how we ended up. Why we need build system in the first place? We were all good back in 2014, 15. We were writing stuff. We were happy. And then we suddenly started getting Yeoman, Grunt, and whatnot. Why we need them? Back at the time, most of the package ecosystem is fragmented. Node is doing its own thing. Browsers are doing its own thing. And no one actually care to keep them together, to cohesive. Like, hey, we both are pushing packages to NPM. You can use in browser, you can use in Node, and there is no sync between these packages. So we started using build systems, changing the CJS packages to make them work in the browsers. So let's go back to the basics and see in a file. Let's say this is an ESM module inside our index.html. I hope everyone can see it. Yeah. If I write import React from React, does it work? It doesn't work. Why? Browsers don't have a store of all our npm inside node modules. Browser don't have node modules. That's the whole reason we started writing building systems to tell our front-end code, you need React, which is not available in your browser. Go to your node modules and it helps you in your module resolution and import it in your package. So you are doing a front-end work, but you are developing on a workflow that is node. And node says, I have node modules, I will go with my CJS export. You go and do your own thing. And then recently we started to have all this module system catch up together. They have ESM modules in the browsers, ESM modules in the node, and you can write a package that works in both the places without building anything. So first thing of the list, you don't need to worry about your module resolution, which is the concept of our workflow today. And then what else we want to take out of our workflows? I have a Excalibur picture. So these are the things that a typical project needs. A transpiler, because we write JSX, right? Which is cool. And then we need a bundler to pack all this stuff together, which we don't need anywhere. And that's what White.js is built on. White.js basically says, ship ESM modules to your browser. You don't need your JS files anymore. You don't need to concatenate and have these vendor chunks, huge stuff. And then you need your dependencies, browser compatibility, and assets. So now let's go back to the file. Let's go back to the slide. Here comes the import map. Now we want to tell our browser, I'm going to write import React from React. You figure it out from where you want to bring React. You want to bring it from node modules. You want to bring it from a CDN. This is what we need to tell a browser, and browser knows them via import maps. Import maps are fairly new. I think Firefox team shipped it in 2021 or something, which is 108 browser version. And right now, most of the major browsers are caught up, and we still have some shims to simulate these behaviors inside our browsers. Now, I'll take you back to one other example. So now let's say I'm using the same script, import Lodash from Lodash. But on the right side, you see the console. My Lodash is loaded. So how browser came to know that I have a Lodash and how to load my Lodash dependency? We have another script at the top. It says script type of import map. Now, when your index.html file is being passed, it knows, hey, I have a Lodash. I need to go and pick it up from jspm.io/npm Lodash. So this URL serves your Lodash package as an ESM module. It doesn't matter if you ship it as a CJS one. JSPM takes care of changing that from CJS to ESM compatible. And so ESM directly runs in your browser. You don't need to worry about any build system anymore. And now your script runs. All you need to do is just use the Lodash and do whatever the stuff we want. And let's go back. So this is bare module specifier. The first thing first it does is help you to use bare module specifiers inside your projects, front-end stuff, without using any bundlers, without using any node dependencies. And second one is what makes it more powerful and important, which is control over module resolution. So I'll show a quick another example, I think in the same file. So this kind of URLs you might have already experienced. Sorry if the mic is sounding funny. So it says import React from https jspm.dev/React. Okay, and let's say I want the React loaded at 16.8.0, and then you got React loaded at inside your project. Cool. How many of you had used this kind of a pattern before, or at least like tested it, like experimented it? We are happy, right? I don't need to ship any import map, and I got my React dependency. And why we need to care about import map in the first place? Now, let's add one more line to this. I say import a button component from jspm.dev / material UI / core. I think it's material UI. Now refresh it. You got your button. All happy. Now, what's the problem here? Let's quickly inspect our network tab. Network. Let me refresh once again. Can you see the problem here? You have React 16.8, which you requested, which is good. And then you have React 17.0.2, which you did not request. But who requested it? Material UI requested it. And then if you come down even more, there is one more cool thing again. You shipped React 18 also into the browser. So you have 3 different types of React versions in the same browser because you said, I need that package. I really don't care about what's going under the hood. What's going under the hood? Material UI defines. If you are shipping React, you need if you are shipping a button to your browser, you need a React version that fits between 16 and greater than 17 or 18. So your CDN provider said, what's the latest one? 18, ship it. And now somewhere, again, material uses hundreds of sub dependencies inside it. Someone requested 17. Your browser said, okay, ship it. Sorry, I didn't share my screen, my bad. Okay, let me make it small. It's my bad. So I'll show it once again. You have React 16, you have React 17, and you have React 18 in your browser now. And what happens if you have multiple versions of React? Your project goes mad. It says you can't have multiple versions of React in your browser or in your project. I'm going to break now. So how you are going to deal with this? We want to use dependencies directly inside our browsers. At the same time, we don't want to deal with these issues. The way we deal with these issues is by generating an import map, I think, which I had before, but let's do it again live. Why not? So you say, let's say I'm saying 16.8.0. And then I said, I need material UI / core. So now this understood what you're requesting about, and then loads only one version of React into your project. So you're basically taking control of your module resolution and telling the browsers, these are your versions, take care of it and load it. Now let's quickly copy this. Yeah. So now you have React version of 16.8.0. Let's go one by one, and again 17.0.2. So I messed up somewhere. I'll come back to this. Yep. So somewhere deep down your dependencies, they are very strict on loading React 17 for them. But your React 18, which was a fallback before, didn't need it. So React 18 is omitted for now. So how we can optimize it furthermore? So from 16.8, you can just go here and say, I need React 17 greater than 17, which falls under the scope of our material UI dependency or material UI or whatever it expects, it's sub dependency. Now, if we zoom it a little more, now you don't have any React dependency that says load React version of 17 in it, because your model resolution figured out you're already loading 17 in it and you don't need it anymore, and it uses it. So now it's all fun and cool, and why not just build an advanced example out of this? Okay, it's like I'm coming here one day and selling import maps for all of you, and you need to know how powerful they are, right? Let's see. So I built this example for this demo. Okay. Okay. How do you move this? So I built this example, so which basically has 3 files. This is the world's fastest code editor JSON file. So I have 3 files. So basically one is a component file, fetcher file, and index.js. So index.js is our entry. So what's happening here? It said just welcome to React Bangalore, and it's loading an avatar URL using React query. It's just 3 different files, and it runs in the browser, builds in the browser, and renders in the browser. So now let's do a fun thing. I don't want to use React query. You have any other options that you want to try? SWR, any SWR fans, or if you have any other, yeah. Okay, so let's use SWR. So you don't need query client anymore, because we are not using use query, React query. Now we use the SWR, and then we load the data. I just need to remove this providers here. So what happened here? I messed up with the syntax. Anyone with SWR, please help me out. Okay. Yeah. Now we changed our project to use SWR instead of tan stack React query. Did we change a single package.json file? No. All I worried about is how my code looks, how fast I can ship my applications. So it's all fun and cool. Let's say you have multiple files. The compiler which I wrote here takes care of mapping all those files. Now, how quickly we can ship this? So you can just go to index.html file, uncomment a line, open it in a new tab, and then let the bundler run. So to show how the bundler is doing all these things, I did some console logs. So you have an ImportMap.json file, so which basically tells you, so I scan through your code. So you're using React DOM, and use SWR. These are your dependencies, and this is your build file. So now just download it. Unzip it. So my project is built in the browser. My dependencies are taken care of. And I think this is the fastest way, fastest than installing your node modules. Let's see what inside these files. Yeah, just two, no complicated stuff. It just says your index file, which again, sorry. Yeah, now you have two files, which just transpile your JSX into plain JS. So you have all those React.create element instead of your JSX, and then you have your index.html file, which took care of React.dom uses deviljr, and then you just load your index.js file in it, and that's all. So this is just to show a demo of how powerful import maps can be if you use them right. So browsers, all cool. Can we try it in Node.js? Because why not? All these are ESM modules, right? And they should be able to run anywhere. So Node.js recently shipped the support node loaders. Have you ever used it, tried it, saw the examples? It's basically a hook that you can hook into a node resolution and say, hey, you're requesting something. Let me give you instead of going into your node modules. So we kind of experimented something in this direction, and I'll show you the example first, and then I'll show you the more details if you want to go inside. You can see my screen now. So I have a repo ImportMaps Node.js. So which I have an import node.importMap, which has all the dependencies that I need: chalk, express, Morgan, random facts, and then we have our loader file. This is the node loader. If you are curious about how we can hook into nodes resolution algorithm, and then you can run it using node with a loader flag. Let's run it. It's inside my lib slash index.js. So what happened here? All the node modules were instant. So these are all fetched from the CDN, which are pre-built ESM modules and stored in a cache in your local directory. And that's your Express server, which is running at localhost 3000. So if you keep refreshing it, you just load it. And how quick your node modules are handled now. So your fans are not going crazy. Your fans are not spinning. All it did was one fetch command to get your dependencies. No, so I'm saying, okay, let's ditch all known modules, right? Why not? And go to CDNs. No one is going to approve this. So import maps work with node modules as well. It don't need to be a HTTP URL all the time. What you're doing is basically moving away from bundlers one by one. So you don't need to rely on bundlers resolution algorithms. How many of you like bundlers? Probably people will hate me today because I'm speaking so much against bundlers. I'm not against bundlers. The problem is when our browser side of JavaScript is not catching up, bundlers made our lives easy, but in the process of making our lives easy, we kind of messed up our npm ecosystem together. How? A quick and very famous example. Do you know module? So let me show you an example. So before, so you all know the line number 3, type module, which is you are saying that your project is an ESM module. Before type module is actually officially supported, we use it to do something different. So if any npm package authors are around here, so it is module entry. We use it to say your module entry, your main entry, etc. Module is never a node specification. It's a bundler specification. So when we started supporting ESM modules out of the box, whole ecosystem was split because Node is not saying, I'm not going to consider it as a ESM module because it's not says type equal to module. But we started saying there is a module attribute in it and you should respect it. They said, sorry, we didn't write this spec. I don't remember writing it. So it took a good amount of time for the whole ecosystem to come with ESM and CJS compatibility. The whole reason is with great powers comes with great responsibility, we all know. So we got great powers from bundlers. We slowly started doing our own abstractions and moved away from our own specs. A good example of this is if you see this front-end developers roadmap, okay, which is all cool. It laid out all colors and okay, don't hate me again. It says you need to learn about Vite, ESBuild, Webpack, Rollup, Parcel. Good. Where is the specification? You don't need to read specification. Study Vite. Tomorrow someone else come and says, hey, what Vite is doing wrong, believe us. We don't know the specification to justify what Vite is doing right or wrong. We just go with, hey, this package has 12,000 downloads because these days, obviously people are selling their NPM packages. It's the fastest. This is the most downloaded. This is the most starred. So this is the irony. We started ditching our specifications and going with the hype train and ended up creating a lot of clashes between these packages, compatibility and stuff. So all I'm trying to say is always go with the specifications. Since our TC39 is way more vigorous now, they're catching up with every year. I think they released some specification yesterday for this year. So they are catching up with all our pain points. You don't need to build all your modules. You don't need to give a vendor chunk. You don't need to ship IIFE bundles using Webpack. You can just ship ESM modules. And that's what we came up with and people agreed on, and it is the most used now. So we saw ImportMaps with the Node.js, and Dino from day one, Dino is like, let's embrace ImportMaps. They have first class support. With Node, we kind of simulated an ImportMap support with the Node loader. But with Dino, that's not the case. Dino supports it out of the box. So I can share this file. It has a lot of rings, lot of references, lot of runtimes. So yeah, so this is the main gist of my talk today. But before going back, there is something in this file which basically explains what's the problem with our build systems using NPM packages. Can you spot it? I kind of kept some emojis in some of my files when I showed this. It's line number 9. What I'm doing there, global this.process.env, node env, and I'm saying development. You know why? Okay, don't rate me again because it's a React meetup and I'm showing React as an example. Let's see what React is shipping to NPM. CJS, React file, line number 14, process.env.node.env. Is process available in browser? No. So when you're using these packages in browser, automatically they are all breaking. But these are built for browsers. What you should be doing, you shouldn't ship process into your NPM ecosystem. All these days, we were not seeing this pain point because our bundler in our config files, we have node polyfills. We are basically shipping polyfills where in the first place, you shouldn't ship process into the browser. So these are all minor issues. More you encounter in ESM modules if you are going full ESM way, which is the way to go. All the pain points that bundlers are hiding from us all these days. So what in all my examples I'm going to say, hey, if you're trying to read process, sorry, it's not available. By default, make it development. Yeah. So those are my rants for this. Maybe I'll come sometime again next year and rant for some other thing. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask.